Okay, Rick, here we are. Thank you again for agreeing to be interviewed. Um, we're at the end of the first year of our ICTPD contract, and you're at Hill School. And really, I want you to just spend a few moments reflecting on your practice and how e-learning has impacted upon that. Um, to start off with the question then is, how has e-learning impacted upon your teaching practice this year, on your teaching?
One of my goals at the beginning of the year was to change my teaching because I think my teaching was too formalized still. Has made a huge impression on me. Going to the conferences, seeing how other people taught throughout other schools in New Zealand,
Mm.
and I was lucky enough to go to Melbourne and see how they do their teaching there as well. Gave me lots of ideas, and my teaching has changed because I have e-learning as rotation, as in a rotation format now. There's always e-learning happening. The kids are engaged. It's more relevant now. Before it was games based, keeping them busy
Mm.
stuff,
Mm.
but it's all relevant now to their learning, and the kids are loving it.
Cool. With that then, that sounds fantastic. What have been some notable successes for you and for the students then?
Well, for me, the successes has been how engaged the kids are in their learning, um, how enthusiastic they are. We set up a wiki. The kids on the wiki, discussions are going on. People are posting, kids are posting their work. They're publishing their work on the wiki. Parents are giving feedback as to the kids' work because it's immediate. They see the kids' work.
So you've got that whole community thing going on.
Community things
That's
going on as
brilliant.
well. There's kids in my class whose grandparents are overseas, so they sending the site over. The kids, their work is being seen there as well, and there's there's relevance to their teaching because now they're doing it for a purpose.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not just a matter of sticking stuff up on the wiki anymore. There's a purpose to it. There's tasks, and they're completing tasks, and that get published. So the wiki is a viewing place, but it's not only wikis going on. We've made movies, we've done newspapers, we've done news broadcasts and stuff as well, and the
Cool.
kids are absolutely loving it.
So how have you had to adapt your classroom management to incorporate this rotation you talk about?
At first, was tough because there's lots more movement.
Mm.
Because with rotations, there's movement, there's lots more discussion and planning and stuff happening. And it's just you need to let go because when you see the kids so engaged, whatever, you you um, you just you get so enthusiastic about their learning that you give.
Yeah. So do you think it becomes self-managing? Do the kids understand and become independent because
Def-
of that?
Definitely, because then you
Yeah.
have tasks up on the board. If the kids know what they are supposed to do, what group they're in, and the task for the day, they just do it themselves. What I've done then is I divided my class into 4 groups. Each team had a manager. Sometimes all I did was call the group leader and give her the task or him the task, and they then went and transferred the task and the expectations, and then I would just walk around and help here and there.
Because you put those big tables in, didn't you?
Yeah,
And that's really worked, is it?
we've changed our setup, our furniture as well. Out is the olden days with the little desk, whatever. So there's working tables in the class as well, and I think that has been absolutely brilliant
And,
because the kids are now working in groups and they're facing each other, so discussions are easier, planning is easier, and it's better to help each other,
and they're collaborating.
and they're collaborating all
Oh,
the time.
that sounds brilliant. So, okay, this leads nicely into this next question then. So, what has been the impact upon student learning?
Oh, the impact has been huge. I think the kids they are taking is their learning now as well. Whereas I was telling them what was relevant to them, they are taking more out of their own learning. So if you give them a task, they take out what is good and what is helpful for them with my guidance.
Mm,
Obviously,
mm,
I
mm,
don't
mm,
give them freedom to just do what they want to,
mm.
but there's also the collaboration, the working together. That's working, the dialogue that's happening. All the core stuff is happening. There's reflection on their learning. So because they've done news broadcasts, they do the one news broadcast, they'll then reflect on how they can do things better. Then dialogue happens, working together happens again, and then off they go again. Then the next one is much better. So as the kids looking at their own learning, um, and there's also the engagement, and what I might have mentioned earlier, but as the behavior has been improved.
Yeah.
The kids who feel that they're not interested in school, there's now reason for them to do it. They've been actively involved now. So there's less arguments in the classroom. Um,
Oh, that's fantastic.
and it's just brilliant.
Again, you kind of answered my next question really. And I say, has there been any positive impacts upon students because of e-learning in other areas that you'd not anticipated? So clearly behaviour is one of them.
Behavior is one of them. And I think also relevance for me, authenticity, because the work is authentic to the kids now. They know there's a purpose for it. And I think that's the biggest thing, because there's less work in their notebooks, but the work, they're proud of their work, they want to share their work, and yet their work is better on computer because they know that there's a world audience that's going to see it now, so they put in a greater effort.
Yeah.
And some of them, when initially they were just doing stuff, putting stuff up somewhere, but when they started seeing the map that we have on our wiki site of who everybody in the world that's seeing it and viewing it, suddenly the quality was getting better
and better. That sounds epic, Rick. That sounds brilliant. I mean, I know it is because I've been working with you all year. But just a question there. You've sort of talked about there's less work in their workbooks. So from a I'm going to be a traditional teacher now and say, so how do you give them feedback? How do you mark their work if there's less work in their mark books and it's all online? How do they
The work that we do, the feedback that we do, there's a lot. Sometimes what we do is we publish something, and kids have discussion on that work that's published. So I'll say to them, you go and check this one's writing.
So it's peer reviewed.
Yes, peer reviewed, but
brilliant.
Online as well.
Yeah.
But also we have, because of the groups set up as well, kids will they will peer mark their work type of thing. I do have one-on-one stuff. I do still have stuff on the walls, and I do still have stuff in the book. But I think all my assessment and stuff comes through the planning phases.
Yep.
So the published work is like the finished article, but I'm constantly assessing the work while they're planning and doing stuff. And I think so the marking is less and is more verbal feedback.
Yeah.
Because I think that I used to hate having all that red ink in my books and crosses and stuff, whatever. And I think it's now because it's more verbal, the kids are just loving it.
And lastly then, because I've got off script really, thank you. But lastly, and what's the parent feedback from all of this?
Parent feedback. Parents are loving it. I'm lucky enough to have a parent who is also a teacher here at school. And the feedback I get from her, and parents also just getting them in the streets and pack and say whatever. They just talk about, oh, my child was busy all that last night because they were doing stuff on the wiki and things like that, whatever. I've had no negative feedback.
That's brilliant.
Our results are all improved.
And results as well.
The kids' results have improved as well. Spelling task has improved, for example, maths. You see, it's nice because of all the websites. If you identify one child, for example, having a basic facts problem, you can target them and say these are sites to work on, and then the kids will spend extra time with that at home as well. So I use emailing also, so I'll email some sites to parents and say, can you please work with these sites with your kids, and the results are there.
Brilliant.
To see.
Great first year, well done.
Thank you very much.